Today on the Leipzig Loko, we are through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Can we make the final our first time of asking against the team we already beat in the league phase as we take on Real Madrid? Hello everyone and welcome to episode 109 of the Leipzig Loko with Lokomotive Leipzig here on Sean Does FM. I hope you are doing well and coming up today, the semi-finals of the Champions League. We take on Real Madrid. On the other side of the draw, it's Atletico Madrid who take on Liverpool, and also a big update before we play that game on the DFB Pokal semi we played against RB Leipzig, and also a big top of the table Bundesliga clash against the Borussia Dortmund. So if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But in today's episode, we did pick up a win in the quarterfinals over Inter Milan. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it in the top right corner. Off the back of that, two big games domestically that we're going to show you guys highlights of before we get stuck in to this Real Madrid tie. First up, a Leipzig derby as we took on RB in a DFB Pokal semi. And it was quite similar to the league fixture we played against these guys not too long ago. It took a while for us to get on the scoreboard here in front of our home fans, but thankfully Hurtado gets on the end of that save shot from an Amadori corner and gives us a 1-0 lead. And only a few minutes later, we make it a double. Matthias Tellier, lovely finish on that ball from Sika, who unfortunately not too long off the back of that, despite the fact he was easing off tackles, did pick up a red card. But before then, they did get a goal back here through Polisi, did RB Leipzig, but thankfully that was all they did. That late red card didn't prove too costly, and we are through to a DFB Pokal final for the second time in the save off the back of a 2-1 win in that derby. A little bit unfortunate we couldn't do the same job in the league a little while ago, because that would have us in a better position in that competition. But the team that we're taking on in that DFB Pokal final is Borussia Dortmund, who we took on off the back of this game. Huge game, this one, with both teams being joint on points in the Bundesliga at the top of the table. The only goal came just 20 minutes shy of full time, and Matthias Tell with a rare free kick that actually hits the target. It gets past the Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper, and we pick up a huge 1-0 win away from home. To be fair, San Jose somehow got a 7.4 rating there, even though Borussia Dortmund had no shots on target. Not too sure how that works out, but thankfully we pick up a win in our toughest game in the run home. So that is good news. It does mean that Dortmund now will need a lot of luck to get back into the title race, and hopefully we can pick up a similar result against them in that DFB Pokal final. But Bayern Munich, they have continued to win. They picked up a 6-0 win over Freiburg on that match day, so it does mean that really our only chance of catching them in the last two games of the season is if they slip up, and they are taking on first up Cologne at home. And off the back of that, on the final day of the season, they travel to take on RB Leipzig. We might need a favour from our crosstown rivals on that final day of the season if we are going to lift the Bundesliga title this season. But today we are focusing just a little bit more on the Champions League, albeit in between these two legs, that big game against Cologne, where hopefully we can keep the pressure on Bayern Munich on top of that Bundesliga table. But Real Madrid, they are a team that we did beat towards the start of this week. We took them on before we played Juventus in that last game of the league phase, and did pick up a 2-1 win away from home. So hopefully we can do something similar here in this first leg before we go back to Leipzig for the second one. As you can see, we were definitely a team on the back foot in that game, but somehow found a way to pick up a win. Hopefully we can find a way to maybe perform a bit better and pick up a similar result before going back home and seeing if we can get the job done there as well. And thankfully, not too many injuries going into today's episode. In fact, there's none. So we have a full strength 11 available to us here against Real Madrid. They currently find themselves second in La Liga, just behind Barcelona, and these days are managed by Roberto De Zerbi. So that is a very interesting managerial appointment. Hopefully we can find a way to get one over on him yet again. But they do have a very strong team, as you can see, with the likes of Camavinga, Valverde, and Vinicius Jr. still at the club. But hopefully we can find a way to at least get some parity going in to that second leg back in Leipzig. And while we have no injuries, a couple of players are still on a heavy workload. As you can see, we are risking a couple of players in the likes of Hurtado and Pesiguero at the back. But we've got Spaliak at right wing over Tezak, because that's not too much of a downgrade. Also Bundok over Escobar. He's actually doing a really good job for us here on loan from Tottenham. He will come in place of Sebastian Escobar, who is definitely the most injury-prone player when on a heavy workload. To be for those centre-backs, not too much better, but feel like that's quite an important combination for a game against Real Madrid. We might need to put out the rotation centre-backs in Montes and Camillo for that league game where we do take on Cologne. We need to win our last 2 league games, I think, just to make sure that we have a chance of lifting the Bundesliga title. You'd imagine Bayern Munich might win those last 2 games, but definitely the game that they might slip up in is that one away against RB Leipzig, albeit those guys this season not doing too well, having just sacked their manager recently this week in Marco Rose, but hopefully they can do us a favour on that final day of the season. But there are Real Madrid 4-2-3-1. It is a very strong team, and we'll get stuck in to this firstly, the first time that you guys will see us play them this season. But as you saw before, we did pick up a win over them before that one against Juventus, which was actually quite key in making sure we made our way straight through to the round of 16. But about 10 minutes into this one so far, we've done very little, and Real Madrid have got 2 shots on target. We'll encourage the guys coming past the 15-minute mark, but so far this game hasn't been up to too much. But to be fair, in the away leg, I would actually take a 0-0 draw, try and get this one back home, and hopefully, having freshened up a couple of players in that game against Cologne that we might need for the second leg, that's a chance for us then to pick up a win and go through to our first Champions League final, of course our first season in this competition. And with 10 minutes left in the first half so far, neither team has hit the target. So kind of similar to the game I've just played against Borussia Dortmund. Hopefully Matthias Tell can again get a free kick chance, because he doesn't usually score from those, but did in that big game. But coming up to half time, 1 shot on target for both teams, but nothing worth seeing, and it does mean it is locked up at 0-0. As I said, that's not a bad result for us to go back to Leipzig with. I think this time we might be playing at the RB Arena now that RB Leipzig have been knocked out. But we're going to take off Spaliak on that 6.44 Tezak. A little bit of a risk on that heavy workload, but on that 6.4, I feel like that might be a good decision. We'll tell the guys need to be a bit better in front of goal. Ideally, would tell them to be a bit more positive, but that option I don't think was there in early stages in this half. Blomé picks up a yellow card, so we'll make an early sub here. Colm Edgar can come on for him, but still locked up here at 0-0. As I said, that's not too bad for us. Hopefully, at least, we can find a way to get some parity going into that second leg back in Leipzig. But so far, we haven't done too much in terms of attack, albeit the first highlight eventually is in our favour. Sika gets that one back. Hurtado forward to Bundok, doing a decent job in for Escobar. Amadori drops deep. That's a little bit of a poor pass though, albeit Matthias Tell does well to win that ball back for us. Now Tezak plays that one through for Nicolo Amadori. Rockets that one top left corner. His 36th goal of the season. We're going to praise the boys off the back of that so far, going very similarly to that game that we played against them in the league phase. They were all over us in the first half, but somehow we've found a way to open the scoring. Matthias Tell there wins that ball back for us. Then we get on the counter-attack, and Amadori bumps that one top left corner, and we go 1-0 up here at the Bernabeu, and hopefully that means we can at least go to that second leg, as I said, still locked up, and maybe get a chance there to wrap things up in front of our home fans. And Amadori, from the restart, wins that ball back for us nicely, albeit Benito there, good slide tackle on him from Camavinga, and Vinicius Jr. plays that one back to Guehi. Now Henning down that far side, but thankfully sick of that pass he's able to get on the end of, and we might have a chance again here on the counter-attack. Sicker over the top, Amadori looking for a double, but unfortunately that touch a little bit too loose, and the Real Madrid goalkeeper there can take control of things, albeit they did look a little bit iffy at the back there briefly, trying to play out, but they do keep the ball, and Rodrigo does start to get in behind. We try and double mark him, but eventually he shakes off our man Valverde with a shot, and Loz heads that one in off of the post. Apparently it's a brilliant goal. Not too sure about that one. They're going on about the assist from Valverde. I'm pretty sure though this has come off the post. So if that was the case, it is a very fluky assist there to Valverde. Indeed it is the case. That's a really harsh goal to concede, but unfortunately Roz was being kept onside. Heads that one home, and our lead only lasts a couple of minutes, so we are still locked up. But these days it is 1-1 coming up to the hour. We'll just check in on some player fitness, but so far everyone out there is on a decent fitness, hard albeit. We do have Osvaldo on a 6.4, and he's quite injury prone, so we might take him off here for Billy Camillo for this last half hour. Still got one stoppage off the back of that, and we can make 2 more subs, but now it's 1-1. A bit of an unfortunate goal to concede, but to be fair, Real Madrid probably deserve something from this game if we've put the ball in the back of the net. The XG certainly a lot higher than ours. Now coming up towards the last 20 minutes of this game, another check, but so far no one down to a red heart, so we'll just skip over that one and maybe check on things before we enter the last 15 minutes of this game. And now's the time I think we need to make our last 2 substitutions. No one's still down to a red heart, but we might take off both our wing backs here or our full backs just to try and make sure our defence is nice and fresh going into the last 15 minutes of this game. So Vochin, he can come on for Sicker, and also De Jong can come on for Pittman. Those two not going too badly, but as I said, those fresh legs, they could be quite important late in this game. So those will be our last 2 substitutions, and hopefully we can make sure here that we hold on to pick up something from this game as we get the action back underway with these 15 minutes left to hopefully make sure we go back to Leipzig still locked up, or hopefully maybe can find a way to grab a win. We'll encourage the guys into the last 10 minutes of this game. Might be starting to think now of maybe chucking Bandok on to defend, and we'll do that with only 5 minutes left actually, just to make sure that hopefully Real Madrid do not score a goal. But I think that's all we'll do as we enter the late stages of this game. Now the stats actually are quite even, apart from the fact Real Madrid do have a much higher XG, but a highlight here is we're about to enter injury time. Tell plays that one back to Canillo. Edgar, good shift on there to Amadori. Vochin starts to cut inside, finds De Jong, does really well to keep that ball. Now Matthias Tell does get in behind, he squares that one for Benito, albeit I think Amadori there might have been offside. Hopefully did not interfere in the line of sight with the goalkeeper, and that goal will stand. That could be a massive one in the Champions League this season, and the goal's been awarded to Nico Benito, the next gen winner, with his 12th of the season. Great work there from De Jong to keep the ball on that tackle from Fresneda and then squares it for Benito. Thankfully, whoever that was, they have not ruled offside against him, so the goal does stand. We'll just check here if Benito was onside, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't. In fact, that other guy was also onside, so no worries there about that one being chalked off the back of that. I think it's time for us to park the bus with this 2-1 lead. We'll just pause the game to make sure Real Madrid don't do something while this is going on. But we'll get our guys to start time wasting quite frequently. Also shorten our passing directness and tempo. Be a bit more disciplined. Just get that time wasting stuff going on. So hopefully they don't grab an equaliser in this one. Also slow the pace down through our goalkeeper. But also we'll drag those wingers back to be inverted wing backs like we've done late in the last couple of games that we have played in the Champions League, in particular that one against Bayern a couple of days ago. Get all these people further back in the field onto a defensive G, so hopefully we can hold on here to our advantage, and that should be something hopefully we can hold on to in that second leg at home. Real Madrid, a good team, but this would now be our second win against them away from home this season, so maybe we're a team that can upset them just a little bit. But we'll get back into the action off the back of those changes. Hopefully no more highlights. Now we have grabbed that goal to take back to Leipzig, and thankfully that was what happened. A 2-1 win, quite an even game, but thankfully that one more shot on target that we did have, we put away through a Nico Benito. Amadori as well got us underway with that thumping finish into the top left corner, albeit Roz equalised right off the back of that, albeit pretty fortunate with that Valverde shot coming off the post. But thankfully we go back to Leipzig with a 2-1 win, and maybe we've got a chance this season of making a Champions League final. Our triple dreams are definitely still on. Hopefully that will be the case when we come back for the second leg and we can finish off the job and make our way into the Champions League final. But before then, we take on Cologne in pretty much a must-win game in the Bundesliga. And we are back with the result from that big Bundesliga game. I was planning on showing you guys the highlights from this game, but in the end, it was a resounding win, 5-0 over Cologne. To be fair, the stats not that heavily in our favour, but our rotation players who got to go in this game did a really good job. Velarde up front in place of Amadori with a first half hat-trick, and late Tezak, he picked up 2 goals as well, so that a very impressive performance. Also helps out our goal differential, albeit that might be too little too late to catch up Bayern in that department. Unfortunately in this game though, Tunde Musa, he did pick up an injury and he is out for 2 to 4 weeks with a hamstring strain, so that might be enough for him to be missing for the rest of the season, depending on how many finals we do end up in, if we can finish up the job against Real Madrid. But unfortunately that 5-0 win over Cologne was matched by Bayern Munich. They picked up that result when they took on Stuttgart later on that match day, albeit worthwhile mentioning that Dortmund the day before, they suffered defeat to Schalke, so they are definitely now out of the title race. There's no way they can catch us up with only one game left in the season, but we need to beat, on the final day of the season, Hoffenheim, that game away from home, but also Bayern Munich away from home. They take on RB Leipzig. If we can win that game or draw ours and RB Leipzig can get a result off of Bayern Munich, then we do have a chance of lifting the Bundesliga title, and hopefully we can then beat Dortmund for the DFB Pokal, and hopefully off the back of that might get a chance to also lift the Champions League trophy going to the second leg against Real Madrid with that 2-1 lead. Unfortunately, another injury, which is a very serious one, albeit to a fringe player in Danny Hummel. He's done his cruciate ligaments, is out for 6 to 9 months, so unfortunately not a good way to end things there for Danny Hummel potentially in this save. But he's a player that we probably wouldn't have been using in this situation anyway against a team like Real Madrid. So a couple of injuries to backup wingers going in to this second leg, but hopefully we can build on that 1-goal advantage, or at least hold on to it and make our way through to a Champions League final. And that will be against Liverpool off the back of a 4-1 win on aggregate over Atletico Madrid, who these days, just recently, Atletico Madrid have appointed a new manager in Graham Potter. He has gone there and ended their Champions League campaign, which does seem like interesting timing, especially as they're not doing that badly in La Liga, only in 4th, but still we don't have to worry about them now because we won't be playing them in a Champions League final. That will be Liverpool instead. But going into the second leg, we've made no changes to our starting 11 from that first leg that we did play, giving some of these guys a rest in that Cologne game. The only changes do come on the bench, just replacing Musa and Hummel, some other players who were in our squad and not featuring these days. Velarde will be playing as a left wing backup and Cuseta as the striker option, but really that's the only change. Also, Horvath can make his way onto the bench alongside Cal Votchins, 2 right backs on the bench, but still got a full bench available to us. But hopefully we can hold on here to our 1-goal advantage and make our way through to a Champions League final. If that does happen, that might be a good place to end the save, actually, with a big episode coming up the next time I do see you. Early warning, I'm a little bit behind on this series. I've got a full day at work tomorrow if I have to play 3 games. Not too sure if I can get that one out in time, so we'll see what does happen if we make this Champions League final, but hopefully we can finish this one off in successful fashion and make sure we have a Champions League final to look forward to against mighty Liverpool. But there's a Real Madrid team. They look very similar to that first league, much like us. An early highlight, free kick here in their favour as we are at the RB Arena. Camavinga plays that one up to the goal scorer from the first leg in Ros. Now Guehi back to Camavinga, so far keeping the ball well, albeit as I say that Benito gets that back for us, albeit good tackle there from Henning, and Real Madrid are back on the ball. Now Rodrigo, nice ball over the top there for Fresneda, who does get in behind. For some reason we don't bother marking him. He pumps that one away top left corner. And I shouldn't have talked about the Champions League final so soon, because maybe we won't even be in it. It's all locked up now, only 2 minutes into the second leg. That's a poor start, especially in our home game, and that's a good finish there from Fresneda, albeit I thought there that Bundok should have marked them better. Did have the chance to try and shut that down, but unfortunately didn't do so. We'll encourage the guys and hopefully get them going a bit better here in this next highlight. Bundok does win that one from the front, but unfortunately, again, we give it away. Rodrigo with a really good chance there, but thankfully just scoops that one straight into the path of San Jose. So Real Madrid well and truly on the front foot early in the second leg. But to be fair, it's been the case quite often recently. It does take us a little while to build into games, and then we get on the score sheet. Now a corner here, we look for Amadori. Unfortunately, though, Guehi does win that one, albeit Tchouaméni brings someone down there inside the penalty area. Anthony Taylor does blow up a penalty. Hopefully, this does get given off back of a VAR check, and thankfully it does. So Matthias Tell here with a chance to get us back in front on aggregate. He's been pretty good form for us lately, and to be fair, since we did sign him at the start of last season, it's a very cheeky penalty. Chips it straight down the middle. The goalkeeper goes to his left, but Matthias Tell picks up his 19th of the season. That is a big gift. We'll take it, and we go back in front, 3-2 on aggregate, and 1-1 on the day. It's a ballsy penalty, that one, but Matthias Tell, he puts that one away. He's been very good, as I said, this season, but especially in the knockouts of the Champions League so far. He puts us back in front by 1 goal, albeit now down the other end, in Real Madrid might have a chance here. Valverde is on the ball. Him and Fresneda do play a good one to him. Fresneda back on the ball, tries to fizz that one past San Jose, but thankfully straight into his path, albeit shortly off the back of that, there is a throw to Real Madrid inside of the final third. Valverde gets a hero on that one off the back of a flick in from Vinicius Jr., but thankfully that one also into the path of San Jose, who's made a couple of decent saves off the back of conceding that opening goal. So thankfully still up by a goal, and now it's a corner in our favour with 5 minutes left in the first half, and this time we pick out Nicolo Amadori, such a weapon from set pieces for us, and he puts us in front 2-1 on the day, 4-2 on aggregate, and that could be a massive goal. It's a cushion one for the first time in this tie. If we can take that into half-time, I'll be a very happy camper, because that should take us a long way to making the Champions League final. 2 minutes of added time, and thankfully we get through that. We are in front by 2 goals now. Conceded that goal early, but frustratingly to Fresneda, but from there Matthias Tell from the spot and Amadori from set piece give us goals to put us 2-1 up on the day. 4-2 on aggregate. We'll just check in on some players out there, but to be fair, they all do look like they're in decent nick, so I don't think we need to make any changes here at halftime. Maybe if we can score a couple more goals, we can give some of these players on a heavy workload and quite injury prone, in particular those 2 centre backs in Hurtado and Osvaldo, a rest at some stage during this half. That's probably a bit early to be talking about that against a good team like Real Madrid, but 10 minutes into the second half so far, they've done nothing. To be fair, they're getting lots of their shots on target in this game, but thankfully not too many of them are beating San Jose. But just past the hour mark, time to check in on player fitness, and Bundok and Tell are down to red hearts. Escobar and Velarde will come on for them. A little bit risky taking off Tell, but we'll make sure he doesn't get injured, especially with some big games coming up off the back of this, which we'll have to show you guys in the next episode as we go searching for a treble here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Still no highlights in the second half, but 2 more players down to red hearts. Tizak can come on at right wing, and in place of Benito, it will be Zoran, and we are still up by 2 goals. Hopefully we can hold on to this. Might be time for us soon to start being a bit more disciplined. Just checking on that player fitness as we make our way towards the last 15 minutes. And at the moment, everyone's on a decent heart. We'll chuck Escobar on to defend, and we'll actually chuck on Camillo as well in place of Osvaldo. Yet again, just going okay on a 6.5. Also, we'll tell our guys to be a bit more disciplined, and hopefully that makes sure that Real Madrid don't grab a goal back. A free kick there in our favour. It somehow finds its way to Spasijevic at the far post, but unfortunately it hits the outside of it. For some reason, they're showing us goal line technology. I'm pretty sure that one was saved by the keeper and actually came off the post. But anyway, we got that and about to make our way now. We are in the last 10 minutes of this game. It is definitely time for us now to start time wasting with that 2-goal advantage. We'll lower the tempo, just really frustrate them here late in this game, and also slow down the pace. Blomier and Sika are down to red hearts. Hopefully that doesn't prove too costly, but now it's a corner here in our favour. Zoran taking his sweet time over this one. Can we grab one more goal just to absolutely make sure we're going through to a Champions League final against Liverpool? Puts this one into the mix. Amadori, it gets saved from Canzares, but then Camillo's there at the far post to potentially poke that one home. We are waiting for a VAR check. The flag hasn't gone up on the near side, and there's a reason for that, because the goal has been awarded. 3-1 on the day, 5-2 on aggregate. We are going through to a Champions League final. Bit of redemption here off the back of that harsh loss to Lens in the semis of the Europa League last season. This time, it looks like we're going to get the job done. We're into 3 minutes of added time at Real Madrid. Too little too late at this stage, even though they are on the ball, and they pump that one deep. Thankfully, Hurtado will get control of that one and plays it back to San Jose. Up there to Escobar, a little bit iffy, but thankfully still in possession. Nice ball over the top there, though, from Velarde to Amadori. That one comes off the post. A chance there to try and seal things for us. Yet again, just really put the cherry on top. Of the highlight does continue now. Escobar plays that one over to Josip Tizak, and that one just goes wide. Good chance there for our right winger, but unfortunately it is still 5-2. But to be fair, I say unfortunately, we'll take that going through to our first Champions League final of the save. But Real Madrid here are in position, but that is now 3 wins over the competition favourites this season. Not too bad for a team that were ranked 2,000 to 1 going into the start of this European season. Obviously, we're doing a lot better than anyone predicted in this competition, also in the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal, but we're still in possession. Sicker is on the ball, plays that one nicely through to Tizak. We'll get another chance this time. We'll beat the goalkeeper there for Real Madrid. That will make it 4-1. I'm pretty sure he's onside. Real Madrid are picking it in late here at the RB Arena, and we are in the end going to pick up a thumping win over these guys. 4-1 in the second leg and 6-2 on aggregate, and based on that, we've got to be in with a royal chance in that final, even though Liverpool are a very good team in Football Manager. But Josip Tizak off of the bench, he grabs a goal off the back of this too. Worth noting, big gaps between these last 3 games that we will have to this season, which is going to be very useful for us, getting everyone down from that heavy workload that they are currently on. But that is a very good win. Late goals in both halves, making sure we pick up a 4-1 win. That penalty as well to Matthias Tell, certainly helping us get back on track off the back of conceding that early one from Fresneda. But that is a very good performance over 2 legs. We are through to a Champions League final where we will take on Liverpool coming up in the next episode off the back of a 4-1 win in the second leg at home, and we go through 6-2 on aggregate. So a very nice win for us there in the semi-finals of the Champions League. We survived the Spanish Inquisition there from Real Madrid, and it does mean we are going to that stadium, which is over in Greece and Athens, and we get a chance to try and win the Champions League at the first time of asking, as we will take on Liverpool, currently 5th in the Premier League. And to be fair, we've done decently against the team above them in the Champions League previously this season in Southampton. So that's not quite as scary as it might appear initially, albeit Liverpool no doubt will be a very good big game team and also come into this one having picked up the Champions League in the previous season. Also, we do qualify for the FIFA Club World Cup, something I hadn't even considered, but I think that isn't in this year anyway. No, it starts next year, so that's not something we're going to be playing in this save. But we're through to a Champions League final, and coming up next episode, as I said, I'll try and get it out tomorrow, but not too sure with the work situation and me being a little bit behind at the moment with these recordings. But we'll come back tomorrow and we might finish the save. 3 massive games. We could pick up a treble if we can pick up a result against Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich don't do as well as us against RB. We can pick up the Bundesliga, then a DFB Pokal final against Borussia Dortmund, and also that Champions League final against Liverpool. So a big episode coming up potentially to finish this save next time. If you enjoyed today's one, that win over Real Madrid, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. As I said, next time could be the last episode of this save, especially if we can pick up one of those big trophies we haven't won so far in the Bundesliga or the Champions League. Hopefully both, but the Bundesliga, we do need some help from our crosstown rivals. That might be a little bit too much to ask for, truth be told, the way RB Leipzig have gone this season, but we'll come back next episode for 3 games, so it's going to be a big one. Also potentially end of season review as well, and we might see the best 11 for this save. But until then, we can lift the Bundesliga and or the Champions League alongside the DFB Pokal. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Thought I could do this, left through the sadness. Don't know how I ended.